Good morning, my fellow Americans and tech fans from around the world. It's time to set all of the bullshit aside. That's right, I said it, all the bullshit off to the side, my friends. Get rid of that stuff because now is launch day, so we can dig deeper into these brand new Founders Edition cards from NVIDIA. We've got the 2080 Ti and the 2080 in-house for you guys. We got 15 different games and some other tests as well to show you. If you happen to have missed our other unboxings where we actually show you guys the basic specs of 3 different cards, we'll have links down below to those things. First off though, let's talk a little bit about the architecture behind these new RTX cards. So let's take a little bit of a deeper look at the TU102 chip. The Turing TU102 GPU includes 6 graphics processing clusters, 36 texture processing clusters, and 72 streaming multiprocessors. Each GPC includes a dedicated raster engine and 6 TPCs. Each TPC includes 2 SMs, and each SM contains 64 CUDA cores, 8 sensor cores, a 256 kilobyte register file, 4 texture units, and 96 kilobytes of level 1 shared memory. And this memory can be configured for various capacities depending on the compute or graphics workloads it's set to do. Ray tracing acceleration is performed by a new RT core processing engine within each SM. The full implementation of the TU102 GPU on the 2080 Ti includes the following: 4,608 CUDA cores, 72 RT cores, 576 Tensor Cores, 288 texture units. The TU102 and the 2080 Ti also contains 12 32-bit GDDR6 memory controllers, 384 bits in total. Tied to each memory controller are 8 ROP units and 512 kilobytes of level 2 cache. The full TU102 GPU consists of 96 ROP units and 6,144 kilobytes of level 2 cache. NVIDIA's latest cards have some very new features under the hood, starting off with a brand new SM, the Turing SM, which provides each CUDA core with 50% more power per core than the previous generation Pascal SM. Improvement has been re-engineered so that the SM memory path has been redesigned to unify shared memory, texture caching, and memory load caching into one unit. This translates into 2 times more bandwidth and more than 2 times more capacity available for level 1 cache for common workloads. Next, we have the all-new Turing Tensor Cores. The new Tensor Cores are specialized execution units designed specifically for performing the tensor matrix operations that are the core compute function used in deep learning. These are very similar to the Volta Tensor Cores. The Turing Tensor Cores provide tremendous speedups for matrix computations at the heart of deep learning, neural network training, and inferencing operations. Tuning Tensor Cores bring new deep learning-based AI capabilities to GeForce gaming PCs and Quadro-based workstations for the first time ever. A new technique called Deep Learning Supersampling, or DLSS, is powered by Tensor Cores. DLSS leverages a deep neural network to extract multidimensional features of the rendered scene and intelligently combines details from multiple frames to construct a high-quality final image. DLSS uses fewer input samples than traditional techniques such as TAA, while avoiding the algorithmic difficulties such techniques face with transparency and other complex scene elements. The really big thing about RTX in general is, well, ray tracing in real time. Now this not only makes games look amazing, but it actually makes them run better as well. Turing introduces real-time ray tracing that enables a single GPU to render visually realistic 3D games and complex professional models with physically accurate shadows, reflections, and refractions. Basically what it does is it makes it look more like real life. Turing's new RT cores accelerate ray tracing and are leveraged by systems and interfaces such as NVIDIA's RTX ray tracing technologies, and APIs such as Microsoft's DXR, NVIDIA's OptiXTM, and Vulkan ray tracing to deliver a real-time ray tracing experience. There is also another new feature called mesh shading, which is just really more eye candy for the gamer. Mesh shading advances NVIDIA's geometry processing architecture by offering a new shader model for the vertex, tessellation, and geometry shading stages of the graphics pipeline, supporting a more flexible and efficient approach for computation of geometry. This more flexible model makes it possible, for example, to support an order of magnitude more objects per scene by moving the key performance bottleneck of object list processing off of the CPU and onto the highly parallel GPU mesh shading programs. Mesh shading also enables new algorithms for advanced geometric synthesis and object management. This is called LOD. Lastly, we see VRS, or variable rate shading. With texture space shading, objects are shaped in a private coordinated space, which is a texture space that is saved to memory. And pixel shaders sample from that space rather than evaluating the results directly. With the ability to cache shading results in memory and resample them, developers can now eliminate duplicate shading work or use different sampling approaches that improve the quality and the way the game plays. When I did the unboxing, I showed you guys that all these new cards had a USB-C connection. Now, all the new Turing GPUs will include hardware support for USB Type CTM and Virtual Link. Virtual Link is a new open industry standard being developed to meet the power, display, and bandwidth demands of next-generation VR headsets through a single USB-C connection. If you've ever set up VR, you know that it can be a real pain in the butt. Now, in addition to easing the setup hassles present in today's VR headsets, Virtual Link will bring VR to more devices that will actually work a lot better and easier. All right, so those are the tech facts. A lot of stuff there. There's actually even more to it, but I know that a lot of people out there aren't really engineers and they're not totally interested in the engineering side of things, but I thought it'd be kind of unfair just to do gaming without actually talking about the architecture and stuff under the hood. I know usually if you go to buy a car, you look at the review of the whole car, you don't really look at the review of the exact engine and stuff like that, but I just thought in this case, it's just better. Now, real quick, here are the card specs side by side. You can see there's not really too many differences between the two of them, just very little between the two. The power supply differences are both 650 watt recommended, and you have the 2080 recommending that you have a minimum of 230 watts to power it, and you have the 2080 Ti requiring that you have 260. Now the 2080 Ti requires two 8-pin power connectors. The 2080 requires a 6-pin and an 8-pin. Before we jump in and do all the testings and rock out to a brand new song, let's first check out our test system. And our test system is a pretty nice test system. i7-8700K, 16 gigs of RAM, all in all a really nice beefy system. We're using the latest edition of Windows 10 with all the latest updates. These are actually required for some of the games and some of the DirectX 12 testing that we're doing. For the AMD side of things, we're using their latest driver that's available on their website. And for all of the NVIDIA testing, we're using the new beta driver for the RTX cards. With all the fluff out of the way, let's now rock out to a brand new song called Arc of Angels and check out the benchmarks. Let's go. What do you guys think of that new song? I mean, video cards aside for the moment, what do you guys think of the song? I love it. I got this brand new guitar player I've been working with. He's a really great guy. His name's Sean Hernandez. The guy can come up with riffs, and he's awesome to work with. We have lots of fun in the studio. Let me know what you guys think of the song, first of all. Now, I'm of 3 different minds when it comes to these new cards. Now, a lot of the things that I was speculating before kind of in a way panned out to be true. A lot of the things about the RTX cards really are just visual eye candy, making things look more realistic. Now, in the long run, all these new shadows and all this stuff, yeah, it does make things look more realistic. Me and Jesus, we talked about it, looked at the games and go, okay, you know, which ones really look different? Okay, here's an AMD card, here's the Vega 64. Let's look at them and try to remember exactly what it looks like, you know what I mean? And then put it on there until finally, you know, put 2 computers right next to each other and look at them, you know what I mean? Which maybe I'll do a video later. If you guys want to see something like that, let me know. The new RTX cards just look really, really good. All the details are there. All the shading is there. It looks really, really nice. Now, is it going to totally make you go, if you have a 1080 Ti, make you go, oh my God, my 1080 Ti sucks. I must sell it now and buy new RTX card? I'd have to say the answer is no. Now, my 3 minds of this are, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the good is this. These cards do look great. They do. If you've got the cash to throw down and you just want the absolute best of the best and you don't give a frackin' cow's butt about the price, then these cards are really nice cards. All the bells and whistles on. You guys can see, even at 4K, 60 frames per second or more on every single solitary game that there is. So that was a goal that everybody said, oh, you know, nobody can have a video card that can hit 4K, you know, it's 4K, it's 60 frames per second. But look, NVIDIA did do that with these cards. So if you're a 4K gamer and you want at least 60 frames per second gameplay, well, now you can actually get that with an RTX 2080 Ti or a 2080 card. You can do that. That is the good. You know what I'm saying? Now, the bad of this, however, is that currently there's not very many games out there that support all the new ray tracing technology. Now, this is probably going to be the future of games and the future of technology as people implement it into their designs. But currently, right now, there's very few games that actually take full advantage of it. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was an amazingly great looking game. It's actually pretty damn fun too. You can, you know, check out Lara Croft's booty. That's right. So, I mean, at that level, you know, that's kind of, you know, the bad because, okay, well, if it's not going to support a whole lot of games right now, if you go out and you buy this card right now and just rush out, what are you really jumping into? I mean, because all your other games and stuff, yeah, they'll play, you know, and they'll play actually, you know, NVIDIA really didn't hype this up too much. They said between 35 and 45% better performance than a 1080 Ti and 10% better than a Titan. Then you know what? It turned out to be true. Those numbers were actually accurate. They didn't hype that up whatsoever. But unfortunately, the bad is there's just not a whole lot of games and a whole lot of things right now for us gamers to take advantage of. And then last but not least, the ugly is just that, woo, $1,300. Holy freaking shit, Batman. That is so expensive to get a video card. I mean, I can't say that's honestly just totally not worth it. I mean, almost I can. I'm like this close to saying it's just totally not worth it. But the person to me that likes really new tech and it says, okay, it is, but it's kind of ahead of its time. When USB first came out, there were actually, believe it or not, a few years where there were USB plugs on every motherboard and no USB devices. Now, this isn't that bad. You know, with the USB Type-C connection on the back of it, hopefully we're going to see all kinds of new VR headset gear that comes out that's much faster, has much better frame rates, and makes VR just an overall better experience. You know what I mean? Hopefully we see that. But these prices, you know, for $1,300 for a Founders Edition 2080 Ti, holy crap, that is so expensive. Yes, you can get a non-Founders Edition 28 for about, you know, a little over $100, right? But that's just still supremely, supremely expensive. I just released a video yesterday. If you guys happen to miss that as well, I'll have a link where I talked about, like, right now, for you, want to go out and you want to build yourself a high-end gaming PC and you're like an Intel, NVIDIA guy, the prices are getting so up there that unless you're a rich person, you really can't afford it. Really offering AMD a unique opportunity to gob up a lot of market share, because for the people who don't have money, they're just going to be like, you know what? All these fancy new features, yeah, they look great. They're all cool, but man, I ain't got that much money, period. I can't even think about getting that much money. And that puts NVIDIA out of their reach. And in a way, that kind of really sucks, because it puts NVIDIA in a position where, honestly, even if they make more money, they're not going to be a card that the layman's going to be able to afford. They're only going to have cards out there that really rich people can afford, and that's going to kind of suck. So at the end of the day, that's it, folks. The good, the bad, the ugly, that's just how it is. Oh, another thing I want to talk about as well, I think I kind of missed this earlier. The card's temperatures were actually pretty nice. The 2080 Ti, it got 81 Celsius under full load, and the 2080 was at 77. So those temperatures weren't very bad at all, and the card is completely quiet. There was no lawnmower type effect going whatsoever. I should have mentioned that earlier in the video. The speculation, it's over. The results, they are in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching Tech of Tomorrow. If you're not subbed, hey, please sub the channel. We'd love to see you guys back here. And to make sure you see your subs, hey, make sure your notifications are turned on so that you see our videos in your inbox. Peace out.